Hey y'all, I'm Michelle Hill with Southern Inspirations. Welcome to Good Eatin. Y'all, I have partnered with food blogger Daniel Champagne of D-Champ Eats to bring you regular episodes of inspiration in the kitchen. Daniel and I have teamed up to share with you some of our favorite recipes from childhood and beyond. Come on in and watch today's episode of Good Eatin' Inspiration in the Kitchen. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Michelle Hill with Southern Inspirations, and joining me is none other than Southern Inspirations partner Daniel Champagne with D-Champ Eats. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing good. None other than me. Introduce me that way.
The one and only Daniel Champagne of D-Champ Eats. I love it.
Love it.
Well, y'all, we are here with you for this episode of Good Eatin' Inspiration in the Kitchen to make hamburger pie, or a little bit of transparency right off the bat, cheeseburger pie. Because yes. I think Daniel and I both agree that we need some cheese in this thing.
Oh, absolutely. I love cheese.
I do too. So we are going to walk you through the recipe of hamburger pie and have a little fun with this. And y'all, as always, I think Daniel and I say this every time, gosh, you can really make these recipes your own. You can put in additional ingredients, leave out other ingredients. Daniel and I both really enjoy playing with recipes and doing that. So we encourage you to do the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, I'm going to grab my cookbook because, as you guys know that have watched before, this is one of my favorite cookbooks, and that's where the recipe for this hamburger pie actually came from.
There we go.
And it's called With Special Distinction, and it's from Mississippi College, which is located in Clinton, Mississippi. And so tonight I am going by the recipe with just a couple of little tweaks. Like I mentioned, we do enjoy kind of putting our own little flair to it. So,
yes.
All right, Daniel, are we ready to get started?
Absolutely. I'm ready.
All right, awesome. Okay. Well, y'all, this hamburger pie is exactly what it says. It's a pie. And so you use store-bought or homemade. I use store-bought pie crust.
Yeah,
so I mean, you know, I like the idea of a homemade crust, but, you know, I think those store-bought ones do just fine. So I bought two 9-inch pie crusts. One is going to serve, you know, as the holder on the bottom to hold this yummy meat mixture. And then we will put that, the second one on top. But as Daniel and I talked about, we will probably, there toward the end of cooking, we'll put some cheese on top of that meat mixture and kind of let it melt. And then put our crust on there and let that get brown on top. We're going to cook this about 40 minutes once we put it all together. So it's your 2 pie crusts. Your meat mixture is a pound of ground beef, browned and drained. And Daniel and I both already have. Daniel, did you decide to use turkey?
I did use turkey. We are ground turkey fans in this household. We do ground beef, but we do love ground turkey.
Yeah, well, and that'll give it, I love the flavor of turkey, of the ground turkey as well. And especially, I know you've got a little spicy treat that you're adding to yours, and so that goes well together. I won't tell folks yet what it is. So we each have our ground beef and turkey respectfully browned and drained, so that's ready to go. And then the recipe, y'all, calls for about a half of a yellow onion chopped and about a half or so of bell pepper. Everything is kind of relative to me. It's kind of like, oh, I really like onions, so let me just do a little bit more. I don't measure that. Yeah. And Daniel, I went ahead and threw in, this will come as no surprise to you or the viewers, 2 cloves of fresh chopped garlic, because I do garlic in almost everything. So that's my pepper, onion, and garlic mixture.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that because I literally cooked fresh minced garlic in with my turkey.
Oh my goodness. We are so much alike in so many areas. We do essentially the same thing, maybe a little bit different way to get there, but we have the same mindset, right?
Exactly. We arrive at the same place.
I love it.
Yeah.
Y'all, then the other ingredient is a good old can of tomato soup. And so I've taken mine out of the can. I use the exact same one. I love it. I went ahead and poured mine up, and I added a little bit of salt, just a little whoop of kosher salt, some fresh ground black pepper, because again, I just have to use that in everything, I think. And then I dumped some hot sauce in with my soup because I want a little bit of a kick. So tell us what you're doing for your kick.
So when I read the recipe, full disclosure, never made hamburger pie before in my life. And I read the recipe, I was like, okay, well, the tomato soup is like the ketchup-y element of, a burger. Well, I love Whataburger, okay? We don't have them here in Saline County. I need them to come from Northwest Arkansas or Texarkana, but spicy ketchup. And no matter what I get, there's always spicy ketchup on my tray. And so I was like, what can I do to make this like spicy ketchup? And so I grabbed some sriracha sauce from my fridge because chili pepper flavor, that little sweetness that makes that spicy ketchup-esque feel to it. So
yes.
There we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
And y'all, the other thing you can do, if you like spicy like us, chop up some fresh or pickled jalapenos and put in there. Really, it's just whatever your flavor palette is. Daniel, I even thought when I think of like a mushroom Swiss burger, doing a hamburger pie with adding mushrooms and that Swiss cheese. Oh my goodness. I think another option would be, we're doing the 9-inch pie, but I've shared my little individual cast iron mock-up. Oh my goodness, I bought some puff pastry shells while I was at the grocery. I know, and I thought, ooh, if there's any of the meat mixture left, I could do a little individual one.
Yes.
And put that puff pastry
Oh
on.
man, that'd be so good.
What are other ideas that you have with this?
Yeah, so I was actually like looking up, you sent me the recipe and I was like, okay, how can I add my twist? But then I was like, okay, don't get too far from it for your first one. Hang out with Michelle, in the same realm, make a few tweaks. But I saw like a barbecue one that was like caramelized onions and put that on top and mix it with barbecue sauce instead of the tomato soup. And I was like, okay, sign me up for that. There was one of like, you can make it with fresh avocado and tomato on top. It's kind of like a California burger. I mean, really the possibilities are endless. I love mushrooms. So my wife would love me to make a mushroom Swiss cheeseburger pie. Like that would make her day.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it'd be fun just to see how many different versions we can come up with.
Yes. You're right.
I'm thinking an Asian flair. You mentioned the barbecue. We have to have the Mexican flair. I mean, I already mentioned jalapenos, but dump some Southwest seasoning in there and maybe some black olives. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Jill actually was like, you can make it Asian inspired with like bok choy and soy sauce. And I was like, wow, that is next level. Do you want to write my recipe? Because that's legit. So I might
I love it. Well, for tonight, we are going to stick to the basics almost, with the exception of our hot sauce. So, y'all, all you do, you take your onion and pepper mixture. I'm going to adjust my, was that your oven beeping?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know if it was mine or yours.
Yeah, preheated right before the live. It's fine.
Okay. So here's my pie crust, and y'all, let me say too, you can leave it in that aluminum thing that it comes in from the store. I just had this glass pie shell, and because I'm not a huge baker, this doesn't get used very often. So I thought, I'm going to use my glass.
You know what ours gets used for? Ours gets used for peanut butter pie.
Ooh, don't even get me going on that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we're going to take our peppers and onions, and in my case, the garlic, and we're just going to, that have been chopped, and just dump it into the meat mixture.
Mhm.
And y'all, these are raw because they're gonna bake, they're gonna cook. I see nothing wrong with sauteing them ahead of time, like Daniel mentioned. Maybe doing some caramelized onion. Really, just play with it, y'all.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Ooh, those onions are strong over here, Daniel. Goodness gracious. And I do think I'm probably going to have more mixture than my pie crust will hold. But here's one thing I like to do. I had this thought earlier, and I do this almost every time I cook. My wheels were already turning about what else could I make this week that I could use a hamburger mixture with. Yeah. And so I will, if I do end up having some meat left over, I'll probably do a batch of chili. Do you ever think kind of like, hey, what else am I going to be making with this?
Yeah, no, that's great. I love some chili.
Yeah. All right. So then next, you're just going to take your tomato soup. Daniel's going to dump that can straight in there. I'm going to dump mine in right into your meat mixture. This is so easy to put together.
So easy. I'm going to throw in that sriracha.
Mm-hmm.
You have a generous little squirt here.
A few little squeezes of that in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to stir that up good. Just get your tomato soup all in there. We were talking about the Southwest. I thought Rotel tomatoes, drain them well, dump them in here. I mean, really, Daniel, there's just so much to do with this.
And we have Rotel on hand all the time.
Yes, we do too. Hey, have you heard that during the pandemic, there's been a shortage of Rotel? Have y'all run into that?
Okay, well, here's the deal. We get Rotel, but then we also just get like diced tomatoes from Kroger. Yep. And we try to get the Simple Truth ones.
Yep.
And they're out like every other time.
Yep. All right, you got yours mixed up over there?
I do.
I do too. So then, y'all, all we're going to do is just dump that meat mixture directly into this pie shell. Oh, my goodness. It is smelling good.
Yes. It doesn't need to be fancy either. Just dump it in,
Exactly. I thought about potatoes would be good in this too. I'm not doing that tonight because, as you know, Daniel, I recently made a tater tot casserole that has, the ground beef and obviously the tater tots. So I thought, well, that would be like too similar, I think, But I thought little diced potatoes might be good in it as well.
Yes, I was actually thinking about that because, shepherd's pie comes with mashed potatoes on top. So this is like shepherd's pie-esque, But my thought was you could put like scalloped potatoes or like diced potatoes at the bottom instead of your crust.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm going to have a Hamburger Pie restaurant starting real soon.
Hey, I think that's a fabulous idea. I've got almost, I thought I was going to have too much mixture, but it's turning out, because I had actually a little more than a pound of meat. So I've used almost all of it. Look at there. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm excited.
So y'all, the last step is to simply take that crust, your second pie crust, and put it on top, and you put it in the oven and you bake it for 40 minutes or until, of course, it's nice and brown on top. But as Daniel and I both mentioned earlier, we really want some cheese on ours. So we are going to, and you don't want your cheese to get burnt. In 40 minutes of cooking, cheese does not take that long to melt. It takes about 40 seconds, right? In a 400-degree oven. So our ovens are preheated to 400. And we're going to pop these in, and I'm going to set it for 30 minutes just to check on it and see how it's doing. And then I'll add my cheese, either then or maybe wait 5 more minutes and kind of see. I add my cheese because that crust is not going to take that long to cook, maybe 8 or 10 minutes, something like that. Now, one thing about your crust, the recipe doesn't call for this, but anytime you're baking and you have a crust on top, if you want just a real nice, shiny, pretty brown finish, you can take an egg and just whisk it up.
Mm-hmm.
And just do a little, brush your egg. Just do a simple little egg wash on top of your crust.
Yes.
And so, I might do that tonight if I can be patient, because I'm going to want to eat it pretty quickly.
Yes. Now I'm excited. I'm going to probably forego the other crust for me because we're, try to be a little bit light on the gluten. So I'm going to pop the cheese on there and then hit the broil on it. And so it's going to get bubbly and a little crusty, that like crusty cheese. And that'll be perfect for us. And so that'll be our top crust. And it'll be so good. And I can't wait to show y'all. I can't wait to eat it.
Oh, they're both going to be fabulous. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to pop them into the oven,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll show y'all the finished version, and we cannot wait.
Yes.
All right, here it goes. And I'm setting this timer before I forget.
Timer has been.
All right, stay tuned for the finished product. It's going to be so yummy. All right, so it's time to take it out of the oven. It is smelling so wonderful. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it out. Oh my goodness. Nice golden brown on top. And confession, I forgot to do the egg wash, but that's okay. It's still gorgeous. And I probably need to let it cool a couple of minutes, but I probably won't. Show y'all that again. I did some slits in the top of it just to give it a little bit of breathing room. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So I've just taken my cheeseburger pie out of the oven and it is delicious looking. It has a nice bubbly cheese on top. It's so melted. So I'm gonna cut into this right now and cut myself a slice. And so while I'm doing that, I'm gonna tell you about what I did. I made a little sauce to go with it because I love sauces and I love condiments. And so I made a sauce that's basically like a burger sauce. And so it has mustard and ketchup and dill relish. So I did dill relish so it tastes like the pickles that are often on a burger. So we're gonna see how this tastes with and without our burger sauce. So there is a slice of cheeseburger pie. I'm gonna put a little sauce on the side. And then here we go. Here's cheeseburger pie deliciousness with my sauce, mustard, ketchup, dill relish. And that ketchup is spicy ketchup from Whataburger because like I said earlier, I'm a spicy ketchup fan. So let's dig into this. Get some of that melty cheese. It's nice and hot. Let's get a good bite with all the pieces. That's good. Now let's taste it with our bright and tangy burger sauce. Because that's what this needs, is a little bit of brightness. There it is. Got the mustard and ketchup and dill relish and the cheese and the crust. You got a burger on a plate and it's so good. And like we said earlier, the possibilities are endless. So here's the deal. This is gonna happen again, but with lots of variations in my house. I hope that you make this at home or you try a different variation, try to mix up the ingredients to make it suit what your family likes. I can't wait to cook with you again soon. We'll see you in probably a couple weeks. Have a great day.
So it's cooled off just a bit. It's time to cut this and try it. I cannot wait. I'll show y'all one more time. Oh, it's so pretty. Got that nice little golden brown on the crust on top. Oh, lovely. So here it goes, the magic moment. Love a good crust. I know that nice hamburger mixture is in there, and I put a little bit of cheese on top. I left it in there like 30, 35 minutes. Put some nice cheese on there, and then put the crust on top and put it in there. It probably took about 15 minutes, so a little bit longer to let that crust on top get ready. All right, here we go. I'm going to start with a small piece, y'all. Oh my goodness. Yummy. A little bit of extra crust down in here that I have to get. I see that big chunk of onion, some peppers. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. So yummy. Look at all that goodness. See that meat in there, that yummy crust on top. Here's kind of the extras. And y'all, I have put a little bit of mustard on my plate because I like mustard on my hamburger. Oh yeah. And just because, why not a little bit of extra hot sauce? I'm going to sprinkle some hot sauce on top. Oh, yummo. All right, here goes the magic moment. Cheeseburger pie. Oh, it's still steaming, even though I let it cool a little bit. Dip my fork in the mustard a little bit. Get this a little bit of crust. Make sure I get that hamburger mixture. All right, here we go. That is so good. The crust is perfect. The veggies got nice and tender, but they still have a little bit of a crunch, which I really like. Dip that hamburger mixture in that mustard a little bit. If you don't like mustard, that's okay. Yeah, that is really, really good. Daniel, I know you didn't do the crust on top and you did turkey, and I'm sure yours is wonderful too. I can't wait to try it. Thank y'all so much for joining our broadcast and for following Southern Inspirations, Good Eating Inspiration in the Kitchen. We'll see you next time. Thank y'all so much for following Southern Inspirations and for watching Good Eating Inspiration in the Kitchen. As always, I invite you to share this with your friends and family and continue to support us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.